just finished writing a piece on beauty. Wow. Is beauty undeniable? Irrefutable, one might say. And I think like the ecological situation that we're faced with as humanity is going to have to be solved. But I do also think that the way, let's just call them environmentalists, are currently going about it, the solving of this situation, is ugly, unappealing, and repulsive. Most people just are repulsed by their behaviour. Like, I'm thinking here now of the Just Stop Oil people and the Extinction Rebellion people, whose point I understand. Like, this is important beyond belief. If we continue burning oil at the rate that we're burning it at, we're going to ensure our own self-termination, sort of a thing. And the same is said for Extinction Rebellion. If we continue extincting species at 1,000 times the background rate of extinction, there will come a point where the ecological substrate upon which we depend is so thoroughly undermined that we can no longer sustain ourselves on this fine planet of ours. I get their point, but like, they're doing it in such an ugly way. They're explaining these things in such an ugly way, and they're mobilizing only the extremists and the people who get a kick out of going to those extremes, which is for the most part not most people. So, in the latest piece I wrote for my locals page, community page, join it. Here we're going to figure out a way to reinvigorate the nature-loving movement, because I'm pretty sure everybody's a nature lover. It should not be this difficult to mobilize action towards solving or addressing our ecological situation, because most people love nature. Most people love to see the sunrise. Most people love to see the trees come into bloom, the flowers come into bloom, and the trees put out their first leaves of the year. Like, these are basic, sort of fundamental biophilic impulses that we are just, as biological organisms ourselves, we're just like, yeah, this is nice for some reason. So with this locals community page, I want to cohere all of the nature-loving people into a group, then mastermind. We can think through these issues and then go forth into the world and execute effective action, sort of a thing. Beauty as a guiding principle is, I think, going to be an important factor to consider, because beauty, we can think of it this way: the mind, the human mind, is made up of many modules. So this is the mind module hypothesis, the modularity mind hypothesis. Don't know what it's called really officially, or something along the lines of that. You get what I'm saying. Many different modules who operate in isolation from one another and also communicate to varying degrees across one another. The unconscious mind is perceiving an incomprehensible amount of information, most of which is shed before those unconscious processes render a simplified version of what they're interpreting and present it to the conscious mind. Beauty, is my contention, is a certain message shed of its superfluous information that is presented to consciousness, whose message is inarticulable by language because the information needed to articulate it was shed at a previous stage in the unconscious processing. But the message itself is irrefutable. It says the subject or object that you're currently seeing or perceiving as beautiful is desirable or aesthetically pleasant. Simple as. And that were we to, as humans, follow that guide of, okay, there's the beauty, follow it, pursue it, our actions, I think, would be much more influential, and we would accrue more power that way, which is important to do when we're trying to address the ecological situation. So that's the basic message. I hope that makes sense. Please do go over and read the piece on the locals page, and if you have the means, don't hesitate supporting me on the locals page financially.